Hello and welcome to Unit 0, the review unit for Grade 9 Math. This is the first thing we're going to be going over. And we're going to start with review lesson number 1 on order of operations. So really quickly, just a review of, I'm in the wrong place. A review of what the order of operations are. So the first trick, well, not really a trick, but the thing that I'm going to ask you to remember is BEDMAS, where B is for brackets, E is for exponents, D and M are for division and multiplication. We do these in the order they appear. So do in the order they appear. Next, we've got addition and subtraction, and we also do these in the order they appear. In the order they appear. And one other thing to mention, another word which you may or may not know is the math word term. And in math, that, there should be no fill on that. There. The math word term means numbers or variables that are glued together. So numbers or variables that are glued, and I don't like, it's just not really glued, but glued together by timesing, dividing, or brackets, and separated by addition and or subtraction. So, and how do you spell separated? I think it's like this with 2 A's. Separated by addition or subtraction. So when we look at this first question, I see that we have this set of brackets, and then I'm going to change color. I'm going to do this set of brackets, and then I'm going to multiply it, whatever that answer was, by the 25, and then I've got this separate 2,000. So in this question here, there really are 2 terms. I'm going to start with the highlighted section first, and I'm going to sort of work out from there. So I have the 300 minus, inside this bracket, I'm going to do 50 times 2 first. So that's going to be 100 minus 80, close the bracket, whole rest of everything. So that's 300 minus, 100 minus 80 is going to be 20. So I don't even need that round bracket anymore. That's going to be times 25. So that's going to give me 280 times 25 minus 2,000. And if we look up here, it says, just pointing it out, do not use a calculator. I'm not going to use a calculator. I'm going to show you how I would do this. So if I was doing 280 times 25, well, multiplying by 25 is a pain, but I know that 4 sets of 25 gives me 100. So I could write this as 4 times 70 times 25. And then here, I would do the 4 times 25 first. That gives me 100, so that'll give me 100 times 70, so that'll give me 7,000. So this really is 7,000 minus, oh, I goofed, that was 2,000. So 7,000 minus 2,000. So I get a final answer of 5,000 for the first question. For the second question, 200 plus 8 times 25, blah, 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 blah. Okay, we're going to do the brackets first. So I'm going to do that set of brackets first. But that set of brackets needs to then be times by 100. That's going to be my first term. If I'm looking at other terms, I also have this 8 times 25. That's going to be a second term, and then that's going to be the third term. They're separated by those pluses, the plus here and the plus here. So if we were to do this, we would have 200 plus 8 times 25. Over on the side here, 8 times 25 is the same as 2 times 4 times 25, and that's 100. So that's going to equal 200. So 200 plus 200 plus, in the bracket with the stuff that was highlighted yellow, 4 times 5. I'm going to do that part, and I get 20 minus 5 squared. So 5 squared is 5 times 5, which is 25. And that's going to be times 100. So I get 200 plus 200, 400. I've comboed those two. Plus, this is all one term, so I got to do it all together. 20 minus 25 is minus 5 times 100. So that's 400. Minus 5 times 100 is going to be minus 500, which overall gives me minus 100. And that would be my final answer. Question 3. So I'm going to figure out, I'm going to start with the innermost brackets first. So I would do that first. And once I have that bracket, I'm going to have to times it by the 10. Meanwhile, I'm going to be doing that. And when I'm finished with all of that, then I'll have this one big bracket. And that's all going to be one term. That's going to be another term. And that's going to be another term. So in this question, we'll end up combining 3 terms. So we'll do it one thing at a time. So 400 is 400. 480 divided by 4 is 120. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. And then a 0. Minus. Now we've got these square brackets. Inside the square brackets, I had 2 separate terms inside those square brackets. So 800 divided by 20 is the same as 80 divided by 2, which is just 40. So that's 40 plus 10 times, and so I've got 20 take away 12, that gives me 8. I'll just write out the extra steps. So 8 minus 18. I'm going to stick around with this though. 8 minus 18 right here is going to give me minus 10. So I'm going to have minus 10 times 10 with a whole 40. Minus 10 times 10 is going to give me minus 100. So I'm going to have 40 minus 100. Up front, I had the 40 plus 120, so that's 520 minus all that. So still 520 minus all that. So 520 minus, inside the brackets, 40 take away 100. The difference is 60, and it's going to be below 0, so it's going to be minus 60. So I get 520 minus 60, which is the same as 520 plus 60. So I get 580. Question 4. Let's look at all the terms. Okay. I've got an exponent. I got some. I'm going to start with this bracket. So I've got this bracket, which combos with the 2 times, and that makes one term. Here is another term out front, and this. So I've got 4 terms here. So I'll start. 2,000 is just 2,000 plus 8 times minus 10 to the 3 over on the side here. Minus 10 to the 3 equals minus 10 times minus 10 times minus 10. So minus 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 is a minus. 10 times 10 times 10 is 1,000. So this is going to be 8 times minus 1,000. So I'm going to have 2,000 minus 8,000 plus 2 times bracket inside the stuff that was highlighted yellow, I'm going to use green. I have 6 times 50 and 8 times 100. 6 times 50 is 300. 8 times 100 is 800. Together, 300 plus 800 gives me 1100. So I have 2,000 minus 8,000 plus. Doubling 1100 gives me 2,200. Oh, and you know what? In doing everything, I jumped around and I forgot this last term. I'm going to highlight it in blue this term. I totally forgot it. I'm like, where are my 4 terms? So minus 40 times minus 50 is going to give me plus 40 times 50. 4 times 5 is 20, and then I've got 2 more zeros, so 0, 0. So plus 2,000, plus 2,000, plus 2,000. So I've got my 4 terms, 1, 2, 3, 4. And when I add this all together, 2,000 minus 8,000 is minus 6,000. Actually, I'm going to add up all the positive stuff first. So 2,000 plus 2,000 is 4,000, plus another 2,200 is 6,200 minus 8,000. The difference here between 62 and 80 is 18. So it's going to be 1,800, and it's going to be a negative answer. So minus 1,800. And if I've made a mistake in any of these, please let me know, and I will fix it up. Oh, the answers are down at the bottom. How nice. So minus 1,800, I got that one right. 580 minus 100 and 5,000. I remember all those. I got those right, too. Hey, that's great. Question 5. These are nicer colors. This whole set of big brackets is one term. And then it's times 1,000, which still makes it all just one term. But inside this bracket, I've got 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to deal with the 3 terms inside the square brackets first. So minus 10 to the 3, we did that before. That's minus 1,000. Minus 10 times minus 5 squared. Minus 5 squared equals minus 5 times minus 5, which is positive 25. So 10 times 25 plus 2 times bracket minus 10 plus, okay, so here's one of the first times we really have to be careful. Inside this round bracket, I've got minus 10 plus 10 divided by 2. I must do multiplication first. So I've got to leave that minus 10, and it's going to be plus 10 divided by 2, which is 5. Okay. I'm going to figure out that timesing, and I'm going to do that bracket, and then I'm going to do that timesing, all inside the square bracket. So I'm going to have minus 1,000 minus 250 plus 2 times minus 5 times minus 100. So I get minus 1,250. And then 2 times minus 5 is minus 25. No, sorry, minus 10. Minus 10 times minus 100. They're both minuses. Minus 1,250 minus 10, it's going to give me minus 1,260. So I was at minus 1,250. I go down 10 more. I'm at minus 1,260. Times minus 100. Minus times a minus gives us a positive 1,260 with 2 more zeros after it. And that's it. That is our first review lesson of the year. Let me know if I made any mistakes or if you have any questions with any of the problems that I did here. Thanks.